D'Angelo Williams, what a big game the last time these teams played. 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. And as Charles mentioned, the running game worked to perfection. And John Fox looking for the second win to get back in the race. And a lot of 0-3 teams like Seattle and Miami trying to make comebacks from getting into an early hole. And there is 33-year-old Raheem Morris in his first season as Buccaneers head coach. And he's got a lot of young players to deal with, including a young quarterback. And the Bucs just trying to get a win here in the NFC South. By the way, this is their first division game of the year. Now the Buccaneers have won the toss and they elected to defer, so they'll get the ball in the second half. And Shane Andrews, who was signed after Mike Nugent was dropped, will be kicking off. And Kenneth Moore will be back deep. He returned one 55 yards against the Redskins last week. So Moore back to return as we get underway. Both these teams are near the bottom of the league as far as points scored are concerned, so points could be at a premium as we get underway. On a gorgeous Sunday in Tampa, a short kick, and Moore returning for the Panthers, looking for running room, and finds a few extra yards as he gets knocked out of bounds at the 34-yard line. So here comes Jake Delhomme, who engineered the comeback against the Redskins and an impressive record against the Buccaneers. And will that be the spark he needs? That's the question. And of course, Carolina hopes that this is the week that the offensive line and the running backs gel.
And remember, Steve Smith, their star wide receiver, has been held in check so far this season.
First down on the 33. You look at the rest of the skilled position players for the Panthers. And here's D'Angelo Williams giving ground, and Rondé Barber right in there, and a loss on the play of about 5 yards on the play. So a good start by the Tampa Bay defense. Now they traded their former #1 pick Gaines Adams, and Styles White, number 91, will replace him at the defensive line.
And they also have 3 first-year starters in linebackers Quincy Black and Geno Hayes, and cornerback Aqib Talib, and they all have big responsibilities.
Loss of 4 on the play. Second down and 14. And here's Williams up the middle. And Williams getting about back to the original line of scrimmage where Styles White makes the stop.
You already mentioned that the big trade of Gaines Adams, so Styles White starting at the defensive end, and the Buccaneers will be tested all game long, we believe, by the Carolina running attack. I think this is the type of a day where both teams are going to be stubborn in running the football.
They haven't yet run the ball well, and as John Fox pointed out, the running game wasn't there earlier last year. And there is D'Angelo Williams, who was split wide to the top of your picture. And going deep and getting hit was Delhomme, and this pass overthrown, intended for Steve Smith. So you see they want to get him underway, but good pressure by the Tampa Bay defense.
And that's okay, though. You know why? 3rd and long anyway. If you're Carolina and you see the pressure coming from the defensive front of the Buccaneers, you want Steve Smith involved. You take a shot deep with him early, try and get him going, and try and get your offense jump started. That
was Jimmy Wilkerson, who's had a great year putting the pressure on, and that could send a message to the Buccaneers as Jason Baker prepares the punt. He's the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. And back deep, Clifton Smith. A low kick, and Smith makes the catch at the 35. The Buccaneers will have decent field position. They'll start from about the 41 or 42 as Quentin Teal makes the tackle. So Josh Johnson comes aboard. This is his first home start, and he really did stand in well against the blitzing Eagles last week and opened up a lot of eyes. So Johnson there, and of course the key return to the offensive line is Jeff Fain, the center. And Johnson should be helped by Fain's return.
And they need some outside threats to balance the run game. Thus far it's been their tight end, Kellen Winslow, leading the pack.
First down at the 41. Johnson gets time, and the pass is batted down at the line, and it was John Beeson, the middle linebacker, who gets a hand on it. 2nd and 10.
And he wanted to go to Winslow right away on the first play, but watch Beeson coming right into your picture. Can't get to the quarterback, gets his hands up in the passing lane and bats away the attempt.
Boy, he pushed Cadillac Williams way back, so he was in good position to get a hand on it. 2nd down and 10. Here's Williams, Carnell Williams, nothing there. And a good play by both Julius Peppers and Niall Diggs on the running play. And there'll be a loss of 1 on the play. Let's take a look at the Carolina defense. Julius Peppers coming off his best performance of the season.
And John Fox is delighted that he has all 11 starters together for the 2nd week in a row.
Sammy Strawder, rookie wide receiver number 18, lined up to the right on 3rd and 11. Johnson's pass, and it's caught by Strawder. He'll get the first down into Panther territory. Big gain by Tampa Bay, and it's Chris Harris who drove him out of bounds in a 29-yard gain.
They blitzed in this in Carolina right here. Watch Richard Marshall on the blitz, which means now you've got man coverage. And when Strawder comes underneath on the shallow cross, Johnson's able to hit him. And then watch the move he puts on Chris Gamble. Cuts back inside and gets upfield for the first down.
7th round pick out of Oregon State, Strawder, and it's a first down at the 31 of Carolina. Williams opening up the middle, and another first down at around the 20. The pass setting up the run, and a gain of 11. Jeff Fain returning at center, and a good block, freeing Williams.
Not only does the pass set up the run, but picking up the first down gives the team a lift and some extra momentum, which means the offensive line comes off the ball just a little bit harder, a little bit more aggressively. And there's a hole created for the running back.
At least on this first offensive possession, this is a hungry Tampa Bay team.
0-5 will make you extremely hungry.
First down, and here is Carnell Williams with a great move to the outside. 5-yard line, in for the touchdown. And it was Tyler Brayton who was left in his tracks. A 20-yard touchdown run by Cadillac Williams.
Watch Brayton here. When he crashes down too far, see, he's got no backside contained. And that's where Cadillac Williams doesn't just run with his legs. He uses his vision to find where the hole is, cuts outside, and beats him to the corner for the touchdown. Great job by Cadillac Williams, seeing where the hole should be.
Shane Andrews with the extra point. The Buccaneers have jumped in front 7-0. And the kickoff by Andrews, and Moore inside the 10. And this is an inspired Buccaneer team. Panthers 2nd possession, 3 and out the first time. First down from the 21, and this pass caught by Muhsin Muhammad. And he picks up about 5 yards with Rondé Barber making the play.
How about Rondé Barber getting his career re-energized, so to speak? I know at 0-5, re-energized is not a word you're supposed to use, but he's been known as a systems corner. Cover 2 guy, vision back to the quarterback all the time, a blitzer. Now he's in a lot of man coverage. He's accepted the challenge.
2nd down and 5. Here's D'Angelo Williams, and hit right away and doesn't get anything. And that was a terrific play made by Quincy Black. You mentioned him as making the start this year. The new look Tampa Bay defense. Derek Brooks no longer here, and on the play, a gain of 1.
Watch the defensive front for Tampa Bay eat up the blockers of Carolina. And once they do that, that allows the linebackers to get involved, and Quincy Black to go through a block by Brad Hoover and make the tackle.
3rd down and 4. Dwayne Jarrett, number 80, in the game as the 3rd wide receiver for Jake Delhomme. And on the slant, the pass is caught by Muhsin Muhammad. And It is a first down for the Carolina Panthers, and a little groggy. Muhammad finally gets up.
And how about this on the slant? Jake Delhomme fits it into the tight window to Muhammad, but they make him pay for it. Elbert Mack playing the press coverage, sitting right on the pocket, and then here comes Tenard Jackson. They happily welcomed him back for the Philadelphia game after a 4-game suspension. There's exactly why. He's an enforcer in the secondary.
So Muhammad going to the sidelines. It is a first down, however, at the 33. And here is D'Angelo Williams trying to go outside, gets ahead of steam, and Williams will get another first down as he gets close to midfield. And the tackle by Barrett Ruud after a 15-yard pickup.
And what a terrific move by D'Angelo Williams. You see what he ends up doing? The hardest tackle in football is one-on-one open field. Watch this move right here on Savvy Piscatelli, the strong safety. Leaves him, and then downfield, Dwayne Jarrett earning his keep, shadowing Rondé Barber and allowing a few extra yards for the ball carrier.
Panthers with a first down on their 47, and they go back to D'Angelo Williams. And Williams getting into Buccaneer territory to the 45, gaining 7 yards and a first down. So let's take a look now at the big running attack by the Panthers, a vaunted running attack. But let's take a look at last year compared to this year, and John Fox was right. Not that much difference between Stewart and Williams a year ago and now for 4 games.
And remember, their takeoff came after their bye week previously. Well, they had a bye week, beat Washington, and now they're ready to go again. They hope to reach the same heights they did last season.
Stewart is in at running back, and a play fake. Muhsin Muhammad has also come back, and a pass into the end zone, and it was intended for Steve Smith, and good coverage downfield for the Buccaneers. So already we have seen Jake Delhomme take a couple of shots.
And the first time he took a shot was on 3rd and long. Just took it and heaved it out there to send a message and try and get Steve Smith started. The second time was when the down and distance was favorable for them. 2nd and 3. Tells you they have confidence that they can pick it up on 3rd down, even if they decide to run the football. They took the shot downfield, hoping to catch Tampa unaware.
Longest pass reception for Steve Smith this year has been only 28 yards. 3rd down and 2, and the Panthers. And 3rd down and a broken up play by Barrett Ruud. So once again, after giving ground and the Panthers getting into Buccaneer territory, the Tampa Bay defense holds, and 4th down coming up.
And that's the type of play that Tampa's looking for from Barrett Ruud. He is a tackling machine. He's going to get 150 tackles in his sleep. But what they're looking for are more splash plays, more big plays, just as what we saw.
Jason Baker, first punt went only 32 yards, and it really came back to burn the Panthers. Clifton Smith is back to return, calls for the fair catch at the 10. So the Buccaneers go on offense again. We have a penalty flag down. Our first penalty of the game. The referee today is John Parry.
Tampa Bay team is signaling holding against themselves.
Prior to the kick, holding, number 44 of the kicking team. Tampa Bay has elected a 10-yard penalty. Re-kick, 4th down.
So they'll kick it again. J.J. Hansen, long snapper. Barrett Ruud, who made a superb play and might have gotten dinged a little bit on that breakup.
And the reason Tampa Bay wants him to kick it again, 1, they want better field position, and 2, Clifton Smith went to the Pro Bowl last year as a kick returner. They always consider it a good thing if he gets the ball in his hands again.
Picking up where he left off, as you see, 2nd in punt returns. They were on the 10-yard line before. Let's see the difference. And they let the ball bounce, and actually the Panthers are going to gain out of that. Carnell Williams tackled by Niall Diggs after a short gain of 3.
And now their offensive line has to take it upon themselves to say, hey, we've got to improve our field position here. Let's move the football on the ground. Danger zone with a young quarterback. Probably don't want the ball in the air very much. And this is an offensive line that was built through the draft. Davin Joseph, Jeremy Trueblood came in the same class. Jerry Mizuta a year later. They want to get going right now, but especially with Jeff Fain back at center.
2nd down and 7. They give it to Williams. Williams, a stiff arm, and dives forward to the 15-yard line. He'll be 4 yards shy of the first down. Richard Marshall, the cornerback, coming up to make the play for the Panthers. Panthers beating the Redskins 20-17 last week. They were down 17-2 in the third, scored the last 18. So it wasn't pretty, but they won, and that's the main thing. And the Buccaneers were trounced by the Eagles 33-14 and trailed by as many as 31-7.
And on 3rd and 4, Ron Meeks, the defense coordinator of Carolina, sends in his nickel coverage. Let's see if he increases some pressure on the young quarterback.
They got the bunch formation to the right of the line. Now they spread it out a bit. On 3rd down and 4, Josh Johnson has time, lofts it in the air, and the pass is caught. You give a quarterback time, he'll burn you, and that's Antonio Bryant. And a gain of 29 yards and a first down and more for the Bucs.
And the Panthers went zone blitz and dropped people out of the line. And on this play, watch how Antonio Bryant uses his body, becomes a basketball play downfield against the safety, Chris Gamble. See how he blocks him off? Gamble can't get through his body to get to the football, and Bryant secures the catch.
Bryant's had knee problems, hasn't practiced a lot. This week was the best he has felt with his injured knee. Bucs up to their 44-yard line. Here's Cadillac Williams bulling straight ahead and picking up maybe 2.
And getting Antonio Bryant back in the lineup, a full week of practice, working with the quarterback, that will help their timing, that will help their confidence, and they need Antonio Bryant to play as big as he did last year. Well over 1,000 yards in receptions, the comeback player of the season.
He's one of those big receivers of over 200 pounds. This is what he's done this season. You mentioned Kellen Winslow's been their big target. They're looking for a wideout. And speaking of wideouts, Cadillac Williams is split to the right on 2nd and 8. Johnson looking, and it's caught by Kellen Winslow. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Swinging out to Straughter. Sammy Straughter holding on to the ball. You know, the Buccaneers have had problems with drop passes, but they're clinging to the ball today. It'll be an 11-yard gain and a first down to the 37.
And that young man there, Sammy Straughter, a 7th-round draft pick, he would have been a higher draft pick, Dick, if he hadn't suffered through a few problems in college. Actually was diagnosed with depression and missed a season before he came back and finished up strong for Oregon State. He was a sensation in camp. And he and Josh Johnson already have a nice connection.
He's got 2 catches for 40 yards in this one. First down at the 38. Here's Carnell Williams. And he gets to the 35. Chris Harris forcing the play from the safety spot. A pickup of 3.
What's been nice for Tampa so far is that they've been able to keep it to 3rd and manageable for their young quarterback. What's happening so far is they're getting enough on 1st down. They're getting enough on 2nd. So when you get to 3rd down, you don't need that big yardage, and you're not worried about the blitz in your face. So you're able to go back and throw the football, and Josh Johnson's been great in the pocket.
Averaging nearly 6 yards a carry is Cadillac Williams. They haven't been able to do that so far this year. Play action on 2nd down and 7. Nowhere to go with it. Josh Johnson takes off, and before Peppers gets to him, he completes the pass to Michael Clayton. This guy only in his 2nd year.
2nd year and 1st year as a starter. How about this combination? The quarterback keeps things alive with his legs, but how about the receivers keeping things alive on the route? Michael Clayton finding a spot, makes himself presentable, and makes sure he's in bounds when he catches the football. So a good job by both quarterback and receiver in tandem.
So the Buccaneers with a first down on the Panther 26. Both wide receivers split to the left. Handoff is to Williams. Nowhere. It'll be no gain on the play. Stopped by the middle of the line, led by John Beeson.
That's what Carolina's looking for, to win 1st and 2nd down. You always hear about 3rd down, and of course it's vital. But to get to third down and make it vital, you have to win first and second down to make it long yardage so that you can earn the right to rush the passer.
You know, if you do a radio show, I hope you don't talk about me, because that's what Beeson did as far as Julius Peppers are concerned. It was a tempest in a teapot. They worked it out, but it wasn't pleasant for a while as Cadillac Williams forces in and picks up a couple. Tyler Brayton makes a fine play.
But didn't Julius have 2 sacks and a forced fumble last week? Participated in an assist on a safety.
Well, this was after.
Yeah, after he said it. So I know it was a tempest in a teapot, but if that's going to get Julius going, Carolina fans are saying bring more.
If you're a player, you know, you work it out inside, but really.
Yeah, really, you don't want that said publicly. Say it to me in the privacy of the locker room. Take me to dinner. Say what you need to say.
Half a minute remaining. The 11th play of the drive. We're in the first quarter. Kellen Winslow to the bottom of your picture now goes in motion. 3rd down and 9. And here is Josh Johnson, and he overthrows Sammy Straughter. Incomplete. And that will bring up 4th down. And the field goal team comes on.
That's the first really inaccurate throw we've seen from Josh Johnson today. And he knew it too. Couldn't get a guy any more open than this. Goes through his reads, has Straughter exactly where he wants, and that's not because of the receiver's route. That's Josh Johnson saying, that one's on me.
He's getting great protection. Now here's Shane Andrews, who is attempting his first field goal attempt with the Buccaneers. He played in 1 game with the Colts last year. It'll be a 43-yard attempt. Dirk Johnson, the punter, will hold. And not a good snap, and the kick is short. No good.
Life's not fair, but when do long snappers get their names mentioned? Usually when things don't go quite right. Andrew Economos doesn't quite get it there for Dirk Johnson, who has a tough time handling it, trying to get it spun for the kicker. Andrews, missed field goal.
And D'Angelo Williams gets good yardage. Barrett Ruud makes the tackle. Start of the second quarter. Dick Stockton and Charles Davis as the Panthers punting the first 2 possessions.
And Jordan Gross, their all-pro left tackle, did not play well last week, called himself out, and promised a better effort this week.
2nd down and 5. Play fake. Jake Delhomme completes the pass to Muhsin Muhammad, who fights his way to the 46 and a 1st down. So Muhammad, with his 3rd reception, gets 16.
And remember, Jordan Gross said he'd play much better this week. Look at the job he does in pass protection right there. Against number 96, Tim Crowder, setting up this catch by Muhsin Muhammad. One of the best pros in the game. That man knows how to prepare.
You can underscore the word pro, Charles, without question. Here is D'Angelo Williams, and picks up a couple of yards on 1st down.
And really, Dick, that word pro, you know, how do you define it, right? Well, Muhsin Muhammad prepares well, takes care of his business in the offseason, no other issues that you ever hear about. And then when he's on the field, he's a wide receiver, but he's one of the better blockers in the league too. Takes care of every bit of his responsibilities, and one of the better guys you'll meet out there.
And you see him around the team, the way he handles himself, the poise, the stature, they respect him.
Great example.
2nd down and 7. And here is Williams again. And Williams diving close to the 1st down. Tim Crowder bringing him down close to the 35-yard line. It'll be 6 or 7 yards. And there you see Barnage, the other tight end, coming into the game with Hoover.
Look at the job by D'Angelo Williams. Earlier in the game, we saw Cadillac Williams use his vision to find the hole. How about D'Angelo there? Play started right, saw it needed to come back left.
Balanced attack thus far as Jonathan Stewart comes in and running back. 3rd and 1. And they go to Stewart going outside. And second effort by Stewart, and it's going to be close. And it appears he may have the 1st down by a little bit, and it is a 1st down for the Panthers.
This one's coming right at you. Zone blocking by the guys up front. They just take steps to their right, take the person that shows in their gap. And Jonathan Stewart follows that down the sideline. And then he ends up barreling into Sabby Piscatelli before he's brought down very close to 2 and ends up picking up the 1st down.
Jeff Davidson, the offensive coordinator for these Panthers.
He looks like a guy who wants his team to run the football, doesn't he?
Hand off to Stewart. Stewart finds an opening up the middle and gets inside the 20. Tenard Jackson, the free safety, makes the tackle, and Jeff King, the tight end, with a timely block and a 14-yard pickup for Jonathan Stewart.
Dick, how about what we're seeing from both of these teams? We thought they'd be stubborn running the football, and we're seeing it from both sides, but this is Carolina Panthers football. What we're seeing right now, offensive line firing out, running backs getting closer to the line of scrimmage before they make their cuts. They're pressing the line of scrimmage, cutting off of the blocks, and finding the holes.
And then D'Angelo Williams returns, and they're going to go with D'Angelo Williams pounding Tampa Bay. And on the outside, inside the 10-yard line, and going in, no signal yet. And it is a touchdown. He got in there, just got in the corner, as Geno Hayes missed here.
Again, one-on-one in the open field, very difficult for the defender. And then the speed of D'Angelo Williams to beat Aqib Talib to the corner. Look at this. Talib is occupied there. Good job blocking downfield by the wide receiver, Steve Smith. And Williams gets to the corner and into the end zone. But eerily similar to Cadillac Williams' touchdown.
Yeah, that was also 20 yards, and the extra point by Casey is good. Clifton Smith returning from 5 yards in the end zone, and tripped up as he gets to the 20-yard line. First down for Tampa Bay in a 7-7 game. Josh Johnson smartly swings it out to Derek Ward. And Ward gets 5 yards on the play, with Thomas Davis making the tackle. So Derek Ward, the former Giant running back, in support of Cadillac Williams. And it'll be 2nd down and 5.
Like the two-headed monster that Tampa Bay is developing with Derek Ward and Cadillac Williams. But what about the play Thomas Davis just made? The Carolina Panthers outside linebacker, very comfortable with being an outside linebacker. Now remember, he came out of college as a safety, and when we talked to him, we asked, hey, why are you playing so well this year? He said, I am truly now comfortable at that position.
They've got good linebackers, Charles. Up and down. 2nd down and 5, and Ward loses it, and a scramble for the loose ball, and the Panthers recover. Derek Ward never really had possession, and Hollis Thomas, the former Eagle, who is starting his 2nd game, he was with the Rams the first 3 weeks, comes up with the ball, and a big break for the Panthers.
And this is just a short toss, and there's not much distance between the back and the quarterback. And watch on the toss. Ward, I think, sees the flash come from number 53, Niall Diggs, and that might have taken his eyes off of the football on the toss. See how Diggs was in the backfield so quickly? Might have distracted him.
Well, the Panthers have been a turnover machine coming into this game. Now let's see if they can take advantage of one here by Tampa Bay. Jonathan Stewart inside the 20-yard line, and a big opportunity as Wilkerson makes the stop after a gain of 6. This has been the really Achilles heel for the Panthers all season long, coughing the ball up, and of course the 8 interceptions thrown by Jake, which is leading the league. But so far, 1 turnover. See if Jake can take advantage of it.
It's nice for the Panthers. They're thinking it's great to see the turnover go on the other team's ledger instead of their own.
2nd and 4. Stewart. First down, Moore, and Stewart loses the ball, and a fumble inside the 5. And it was Tenard Jackson who knocked the ball away from Stewart. And the Buccaneers get it back. Tenard Jackson forcing the fumble, Sims recovering.
He's a young man with Pro Bowl potential, and he makes the big play for the Buccaneers to keep the game tied.
So the turnovers are even, but that has been the big problem for the Panthers. Not taking advantage of it, coughing it up themselves. First down at the 3 for the Bucs. And Ward, who had fumbled in his last attempt, brings it out to the 5, a gain of 2. Well, John Fox's team, and you want to know about wins and losses, look at turnover margin, -9, and that includes the takeaway and then the giveaway in this game.
And the Panthers have a proud tradition of takeaways. Well over 400 takeaways in their team's existence, near the top of the list in the NFL.
And all Jake Delhomme can do is look on and hope for the next chance. 2nd down and 8. Josh Johnson getting a little pressure and kind of a short arm pass quickly out to John Gilmore. Panthers with pressure there. No surprise, Charles.
Not a bit, because I figured Ron Meeks, with them backed up and a quarterback making his 3rd start in the NFL, this is your opportunity for the defense to have an advantage. And Thomas Davis, who we talked about earlier, having a tremendous season, comes in off of the edge and gets enough of the football to knock it down.
3rd down and 8, formerly with the Indianapolis Colts, Ron Meeks. See what he dials up here on 3rd and long.
Still haven't gotten Winslow involved yet.
Winslow's caught just one, and Josh Johnson goes down. A big crowd around him, and he is tackled at the 4-yard line as Everett Brown, the rookie, and Julius Peppers, the veteran, combined to put down Josh Johnson, and the Panthers will get the ball. Could be good field position.
And Julius Peppers, who has played quite well in the last couple of weeks, increases the pressure on the quarterback. Josh Johnson goes through Jeremy Trueblood, number 65, to get to him.
Peppers had 2 sacks against Washington. So Dirk Johnson will be punting to Captain Munnerlyn. And he calls for the fair catch at the 43. Play action. And Jake Delhomme was thinking of taking another shot. Now he was going to run and then throw again. He gets inside the 40-yard line, where Piscatelli makes the tackle and a gain of about 6 on the play as a flag is down.
Dick, Steve Smith was running a double move downfield. That's the shot you were talking about Delhomme was looking for. I believe he got held in the double move, and this penalty will go against Tampa Bay.
Prior to the quarterback leaving the pocket, illegal contact. Number 25 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. 1st down.
There's Aqib Talib. You're outside of the 5-yard zone. He gets an illegal hand on him, and then he also grabs for the jersey. And you notice how the official, John Perry, said prior to the quarterback leaving the pocket.
Correction, that 5-yard penalty will be tacked on since it was a run.
See, prior to him leaving the pocket, if he leaves the pocket, that eliminates those, because now you can touch the receiver downfield, the quarterback out of the pocket.
So it is a 1st down, and originally the 38, and they're going to mark 5 more yards up. So what's the thinking of the Panthers here now, Charles?
Well, I think now that they tried to take their shot, they get back to the run game, which was so successful on the last drive prior to Jonathan Stewart's fumble.
John Fox, Jonathan Stewart's the running back. The Panthers have rushed for 94 yards, 50 more than the Bucs. Here's Stewart. And can't get away from Ronde Barber on that one. 2nd down and 9, and there is Stewart. And Barrett Ruud, who knocked down a pass earlier, shows his skills as a run defender, and a loss of 2 yards for Jonathan Stewart, bringing up 3rd down.
Watch coming from here. This is Barrett Ruud. Watch the straight ahead pursuit. And he makes the first hit on the running back. He's not going to get credit for the tackle, but because of the first hit, it allowed everyone else to get there and stacked up the running play. Another big play from Barrett Ruud, the middle linebacker.
3rd and 11. Delhomme off balance, throws it out of bounds. There were 2 defenders around Steve Smith. And 4th down coming up for Carolina.
Watch how they're covering Steve Smith on this play. All we heard in the offseason was how the Buccaneers were changing defensive schemes and getting away from the Tampa 2. Guess what they just ran on that play, Dick? The Tampa 2, with Barrett Ruud running down the middle, running down the pipe. Excellent coverage by the Buccaneers.
So John Casey, in his 19th year, will try to give the Panthers a lead. This is a long one, 52 yards away, and the kick is blocked. And here comes Tampa Bay with the return. And it's Quincy Black who caught it on a fly after the block. Back in Tampa, first half summary, you're not seeing double. D'Angelo Williams and Cadillac Williams both have touchdown runs from 20 yards, and there have been 2 fumbles, a missed field goal, and a blocked field goal. That was Davin Joseph, a guard, who blocked that last one. Now Josh Johnson going to work, and he's tackled from behind by Tyler Brayton after a gain of 1. Second down and 8. D'Angelo Williams, and nothing doing. Couple of yards. Cadillac Williams, that is, with the carry. 2-yard pickup on the play as we wind down to 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Cadillac Williams has gained 42 yards on 9 attempts.
Another opportunity now on 3rd down. See if they can get Kellen Winslow involved in the pass offense.
He's caught 1 pass thus far. Starter went in motion. The flag goes down. It'll be 3rd down and incomplete to Clayton. And the preliminary signal, they're pointing offsides. Carolina.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Neutral zone.
Julius Peppers trying to get off and rush the quarterback. A little bit too quick. And what about Strawder, number 18? He was actually turned and moving forward. I mean, his move was definite towards the line of scrimmage, like he was going in motion, not turning to get set. Panthers would have an argument there, if I would think.
No, the Panthers moved first. Otherwise, Strawder would have been called for that. 3rd down and 1. Cadillac Williams, first down. As he edges his way to the 46, will get 2 yards on the play. Both of these teams have losing records, but they are both playing intently and intensely today.
This is just man on man here, Dick. Everyone knew what was coming. It was going to be a running play. Who could handle the line of scrimmage? And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers handled it well enough to pick up a first down. Donald Penn, number 70. Jeremy Zutan, number 76. The guard creating the hole.
There's Winslow, who is split out to the left. Looking that way was Josh Johnson. Takes off. Gets a block from Cadillac Williams and close to first down yardage, and he's got it. Cadillac Williams with a good block allows Josh Johnson to get 12 yards and a first down.
This is Kellen Winslow up to the top. They love to put him on the backside of formations and isolate him working one-on-one. They don't mind if a corner's covering him. They think he's a good enough receiver to beat anyone. So the Panthers, their defensive backs coach, Mike Gilhammer, he grabbed his safety man, Charles Godfrey, and said, here, watch this reel of all completions to Winslow. I want you to watch them and tell me what they like to do. That's what he noticed all year, all week in film study.
First down on the 42. Johnson's pass up the middle, and the grab is made by Kellen Winslow, who is amongst the league leaders in receptions. Davis on the tackle, and they get 19 more.
And again, there's Kellen Winslow. He is on the backside of the formation, even though he's in tight at the tight end spot. The formation was all kicked to the right. Kellen Winslow on the backside allows him to really be one-on-one, working against the linebacker, Thomas Davis. A first down for Tampa Bay.
On the 24 of Carolina. Williams. And Williams is dropped for a loss of 1 by Tyler Brayton. Julius Peppers remains on the sideline as we will get close to the 2-minute warning. Actually 18 on the play clock, so they will get another play off And there's the play selection with the Buccaneers running 5 times more than they passed. Josh Johnson still looking for a receiver and will go out of bounds at the 20 and another penalty marker down.
Holding, number 52, offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So it'll be on Jeff Fain, holding penalty. Remember that the Bucs got to the 20 here.
That is the 2-minute warning.
It's 2nd down at 21, and the ball is knocked away. Julius Peppers forces the fumble, and it's recovered by the Bucs.
Big Julius coming at you from the front side of Josh Johnson, and he's just getting ready to launch when Peppers stops his arm, and I believe that is definitely a fumble, not an incomplete pass, because I think he stopped him before the arm came forward. Great heads-up play by Ernest Graham, number 34 for the Buccaneers, getting on the loose football.
Ernest Graham, by the way, inactive last week, and with B.J. Askew suffering head and neck injuries because of an automobile accident earlier in the week, is the starting fullback. Now, he's played fullback before, but he was the starting fullback today. So after all of that is 3rd down and 27 with under 1.5 minutes to go. Each team has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. From the 41, 3rd and long. Josh Johnson's pass, and it is nearly picked off by Gamble after the deflection by Richard Marshall.
When you've got one of the premier pass rushers coming at your quarterback who just got a sack, probably a good idea to double team him. Jeremy Trueblood the tackle, Davin Joseph the guard, and Richard Marshall in the short zone read the eyes of the quarterback Josh Johnson and reacted to the football and helped bat it away.
So the Panthers are going to have an opportunity with a 1:05 to go and 3 timeouts left, and here is the punt by Dirk Johnson, looking to keep it in the field of play, and it goes into the end zone. 1st down on the 20. D'Angelo Williams. And Williams gets it out to the 23-yard line.
Tie ball game. No one wants a big turnover here to give momentum to their opposition as you go into the half. What a hard-hitting first half it's been.
Well, maybe try to get into field goal range as D'Angelo Williams on the receiving end goes out of bounds and stops the clock with 42 seconds left after a gain of 4. Well, Josh Johnson in his first home start, completing 7 of 11 for 106 yards. And I'll tell you what, after that Eagle blitzing package, anything is a vacation compared to that.
He's got his PhD at staying in the pocket in one short game, because the Eagles are going to come at you from the beginning of the game until the end of the game, and he hung in there quite well.
3rd down and 2. Hand off to Williams, and D'Angelo Williams with a 1st down as we wind down to 30 seconds remaining and a timeout called by Carolina. That's their 2nd. 1st down on the 33. 1 timeout left for the Panthers. And there's Jake DeLoe going up top, and nearly hanging on is Dante Rosario. A good pass-catching tight end. It'll go incomplete with 30 seconds on the clock.
And how about the coverage by Barrett Ruud, the middle linebacker? You always hear about the Tampa 2. Well, what makes the Tampa 2 really effective? A middle linebacker who can run down the middle of the field and take away crossing routes or run underneath a tight end. That's called running the pipe, right down the middle. How about the play by Ruud? He looked like a safety man getting his hand in and knocking it away.
They had the best for that purpose, didn't they, for so many years?
Derek Brooks be able to go in there and run the pipe.
2nd and 10. Here's DeLone trying to get his team in field goal range, and a drop by Rosario. So Dante Rosario has gotten his hands on 2 passes. First one was a lot more difficult than this one, but it'll be 3rd down.
And don't forget, they had to work him out in pregame today because he turned an ankle midweek in practice. They weren't sure if he'd be able to go. They had to check him in before the ball game. He might not be 100%.
John Casey, they've got to get a big chunk of yardage to get Casey on the field. 3rd down and 10. Still on the 33, and the handoff to D'Angelo Williams, and that's the answer to that, as they'll be content to run out the clock and have this 7-7 game. And the Panthers say, well, maybe we can get the ball one more time, and they call a timeout, their first of the game.
And they took this timeout to give Clifton Smith a chance for a return.
And they ran right into Smith. Clifton Smith was hit on the punt and still lying down. And Dante Wesley ran into him. And now you think these clubs have played each other over the years, even the young kids, and have learned. You just talked about what they showed them.
Yeah, this is always a physical rivalry, and they've run out of flags, so now the officials are even throwing hats to signify penalties.
And there is Aqib Talib, and there's an official trying to keep him out of further trouble, and we already have trouble here.
And that's good preventive officiating right there. Dante Wesley's going to proclaim innocence, but boy, what a shot did he deliver on Clifton Smith, who had no chance to get to the ball.
Tell you what, this officiating crew just did a superb job.
Fantastic.
In stopping what could have been a total melee into, a kind of a scrum that ended in a hurry. Meanwhile, still down on the field is Clifton Smith.
Now watch, Dante Wesley is the gunner, and Clifton Smith goes and gets set up, and Wesley just lowers the boom on him. And he's going to claim, he's going to proclaim innocence, but
can't.
This is going to be a real problem for Dante Wesley. I mean, there's nothing there to show that the ball was there. Not at all. And that's what led to where we are right now.
And when the Buccaneers saw what Wesley had done, they obviously came to his aid, especially since he wasn't getting up from that injury.
Dick, when your coach, I'm talking about the Buccaneers, shows you film in camp about a team that he says has physically dominated you, and something like this happens, look out.
Fair catch interference, which was also a personal foul. Number 21 of the kicking team. That player, by virtue of his actions, is disqualified for further participation. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
And I think, Dick, you mentioned the officiating crew. What a great job they just did there. I think it's the right call. I'm glad to see Clifton Smith up and walking. This is good. But also, the coaching staffs for both teams got involved in helping break up this melee. Everyone got involved to do the right thing.
How can Dante Wesley still be arguing over this?
I don't think that he has an argument. When he sees it on film and the emotions are out of it, he'll understand exactly what happened. Remember, the Buccaneers took that time out in order to set up a return for Clifton Smith, hoping to break something big before the half. I love the timeout by Raheem Morris to try and give his team one more opportunity to score. And this is the result, is Dante Wesley with the early hit, and now he's done for the day.
Well, there's Dante Wesley leaving the field, and they've got to pick up that flag as well. That seemed to happen eons ago as tempers flared on both sides, and the Buccaneers just came to the aid of their injured player by going out on the field, and there was a response there, and they're just going to run out the clock here. And cooling off period, that's what's needed. Wesley ejected from the game. Clifton Smith going into the locker room, and the half will end all tied at 7-7. Clifton Smith, suffering a concussion, will not return, so Sammy Straughter is back there to return the kickoff to start the second half, and he does so from the end zone, and he brings it out beyond the 20-yard line, and that's where Tampa Bay will go. So obviously the first reaction would be the carryover from the emotions at the end of the half.
And now for Tampa Bay, who feels like they were wronged in it, and they were. Clifton Smith was hit illegally, and now he has a concussion and won't return. They've got to channel that anger constructively. They can't go out now and get too chippy in their play and kind of give things back to Carolina. They've got to take that anger and put it into what they're doing, running the football, which they did well in the first half, defending, pursuing, and hitting people. making sure they don't get out of their range in terms of emotion.
Starting from the 23-yard line and throwing on first down is Josh Johnson, and the pass is intercepted by Thomas Davis. And Davis going down the sideline and knocked out of bounds by Jeremy Zuta. So you have been talking about Thomas Davis, the former safety who played that like a safety and returned the interception.
Dick, you never lose your safety skills. There's Thomas Davis. He's going to drop into coverage, working against Michael Clayton to start. And I think that Josh Johnson tried to be a little too fine with this throw. Tried to fit it over the top of Thomas Davis to Mark Clayton. See, working in the slot is Davis. Now watch him drop right in here. And as he drops, he's going to get his eyes back on the quarterback. You see where Johnson was trying to drop it over him into Clayton? Unable to do so. Huge play and a great start to the second half for Carolina.
Fifth interception thrown by Johnson, and a golden opportunity for Jake Delhomme and the Panthers. First down at the 13. D'Angelo Williams is the tailback, and he'll get the call trying to go up the middle and pushes the pile and does a great job of it as he moves to the 6-yard line.
When you run the football effectively, everyone talks about the offensive line. You know who gets lost? The fullback. And they've got a good one here in Carolina in Brad Hoover, who's done a nice job leading for many of these draws and other running plays today for Carolina.
Williams has gained 71 yards on 12 carries. That's a 6-yard per carry average. Second down and 4. Again to Williams. And Williams gets to about the 3-yard line. And that'll bring up third down. Now the Panthers can get a first down without scoring if they get inside the 2. So it'll be third down and 2.
And you wonder if John Fox is thinking 4 downs here to get the first down, if not the touchdown.
And they go to D'Angelo Williams driving up the middle, and he's not going to get there, and the Buccaneers stop him shy of first down yardage. So it's decision time for John Fox.
And he wants to know where the ball is, how much, and possibly a timeout to talk about, because last week he went for it and didn't get it on 4th and short.
Roy Miller, the rookie from Texas, coming in and making a timely play. And time is called. They're going to measure first.
Nice job by the Buccaneers rearranging the line of scrimmage. They did not allow Carolina to blow them off the ball and move the line of scrimmage into their secondary. They actually moved it into the backfield of Carolina and allowed Miller to flow down the line and make the play.
So they're short by a good yard. It'll be fourth down.
So last week John Fox went for it and then called himself the dumb coach because they didn't get it. It would dictate him, you would think, kicking the field goal here. But remember, they've only got 1 win this year. He may want to set a tone and go get it.
And here comes Jake checking the plays on his wrist. So the first time the Panthers were in the red zone, they fumbled and lost the ball. And now they're going to try to punch it over. It'll be 4th down and 1. And the crowd rises up. They go to D'Angelo Williams, and he'll get the first down. D'Angelo Williams stopped just short of the goal line by Aqib Talib, who came up from the cornerback spot, but John Fox got the job done that he wanted to. It'll be 1st and goal for Carolina.
And watch Brad Hoover, number 45, at the lead block. See that? Gets enough of Barrett Ruud to push him to the side that allows Williams to get in there for the first down. And Jonathan Stewart is normally your short yardage back. D'Angelo Williams picked it up.
And there you see Steve Smith limping off the field to the bench. It's 1st and goal here. Stewart is the running back. It's play action, and the throw into the end zone. The King for the touchdown. Jeff King, who caught the big touchdown pass last week to help bring Carolina back against the Redskins, grabs that pass, and Delhomme wants the ball, and the Panthers take the lead for the first time today. And John Casey is on to try the extra point. So the turnover burns the Buccaneers early here in this third quarter. And the Panthers take a 14-7 lead. Well, it was a short scoring drive as Thomas Davis, that was only the third interception all year for the Panthers, and King on the catch from a yard out to give the Panthers a 14-7 lead. And there is Straughter ready to return the kick by Reese Lloyd. So the second time in about 3 minutes, Buccaneers returning a kickoff, and it's Straughter, and he is wrestled out of bounds.
Jeff King, the tight end, is going to run a route here, but watch where the ball has to go. The ball needs to come here because of the coverage of the linebacker out there, number 54, Geno Hayes. See where Geno is right here? Watch. If he throws the ball there to the outside, he runs the receiver right into the coverage. Instead, he throws it back inside, away from the coverage. Nice job by Jake DeLong.
First down from the 20, and Cadillac Williams knocked back for a loss by Hollis Thomas of a yard. So Hollis Thomas, welcome addition, signed last week in his 14th year. And of course, a long-standing defensive lineman for the Eagles.
11 years. And loves SpongeBob.
Really?
SpongeBob SquarePants is his guy. Loves the positive attitude SpongeBob brings. And I guess they're built similarly, too.
Boy, you get great information on the field before the game. Second down and 11. Play fake on the rollout. And this pass toward the sideline, incomplete, intended for Antonio Bryant. So 3rd and 11 coming up. Josh Johnson back on the field after throwing that interception, which the Panthers capitalized on.
And what he cannot do now is let that interception lead him into trying to be too fine with his throws. He still needs to step back in the pocket and let it go. He's got plenty of arm. He's got a nice arm. It's a live one. Let's shake off that interception and come back and throw the football.
Captain Munnerlyn is in the game as a nickel back, number 41. There's Julius Peppers ready to charge. 3 wide receivers, 3rd and 11, stepping up and taking off immediately, being chased by Peppers, who misses him. But the second man got him, and got him good, and that was Thomas Davis. But it is close to the first down, and let's see whether Josh Johnson made it.
If he got it, he earned it.
He earned it. First down.
Here comes Julius Peppers, the all-pro pass rusher. Jeremy Trueblood does a nice job, but look at the all-out pursuit by Peppers. And then Thomas Davis finishes things off, but not before Josh Johnson picks up the first down.
He got 12 yards in that package. First down at the 31. Short drop. And the pass flag is down, and it's caught by Kellen Winslow. And the preliminary indication, it's against the Bucs.
Yeah, now it'd be Kellen Winslow pushing off on the route, creating the separation to get himself free.
Pass interference, number 82 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
They saw it right away.
I was watching him on the route because I know that in these situations, if you want to get your quarterback going, they like him to throw it to the tight end, especially a receiving tight end like Winslow. So watch in here and say, watch him now. See how he pushes off, gets his arm extended, and then runs the route to the sideline. Right in front of the official, an easy call by Wayne Mackey, the head linesman.
First down and 20. Cadillac Williams cutting to the outside and put down by Thomas Davis. Big game last week and following it up with a terrific one this week, and a 5-yard gain for Williams. It'll bring up second down and long. You can feel it.
What a nice tackle by Thomas Davis, too. That's how they teach you to do it. From Pee-wee on up. Body into him, wrap him up.
Cadillac has 49 yards gained. This is going to be a pass, and it's a wide receiver screen to Antonio Bryant. And Bryan is stopped at the 34-yard line, still about 7 yards away from first down yardage. He'll get 9 on the play. Josh Johnson, and talking to John Fox, he said he worked out Josh Johnson when he was at the University of San Diego, so he knows fully his athletic abilities. And a lot of times you say all young quarterbacks who can run are athletic, but he especially is.
He's athletic, and he's very cerebral, too.
Good way of saying smart.
Thank you.
3rd down and 6. Johnson runs for the first down, loses the ball. Let's see if he recovered it. And he did. Recovered by the quarterback, and it'll be a first down at the 44.
Look at him as they take him down, pulling the ball free as he goes down. Ball was starting to work itself free before he hit the deck, and he is fortunate to come back up with it, his 2nd rushing first down on this drive. He's going to have to learn to protect himself better. He's not going to last long in this league unless he starts making himself a little bit smaller as a target, as well as protecting the football. But good job by him twice now running for first downs.
11 yards on that occasion. First down at the 45. Here's Carnell Williams. Williams stumbles forward. He showed power there and gets close to 9 yards on the play, with Richard Marshall finally bringing him down. This is a grueling football game. Make no mistake about it, with Tampa Bay on the run here.
And watch Sammy Stroughter right there in the slot right in front of you. He's blocking, and look what Carnell Williams does. He actually bounces him off the block and sends him downfield, saying, go get another guy for me, please. Great job by Cadillac.
No, they're in teal, we're in white. Let's get that straight.
Cadillac, nice run, but that hurt, man.
2nd down and 2. Here comes the pressure on. Loses the ball, and Davis may have recovered it, and they're going after it. It's Davis along with Jeremy Stevens fighting for the loose ball, and the Buccaneers recover, and Jeremy Stevens, I believe, took the ball away from Davis.
It looked like Charles Johnson, number 95, coming off the edge, was the one who created the original loose ball. So watch Johnson, 95. He beats Stevens initially and bats the ball free. And Stevens knows that he missed the block and scrambles hard. And as you said, Dick, takes the ball away. And boy, look at Johnson's hand. It got up into the face area of Josh Johnson. Fortunate not to draw a penalty flag.
Tight end on a defensive end. You'd always like that matchup. And it's a mismatch indeed. 3rd down and 11. Johnson trying to get out of trouble. In trouble now. And finally knocked out of bounds. And a penalty flag is down. You got to hold your breath every time Josh Johnson runs.
Number 70, offense. Penalty's been declined. 4th down.
And Donald Penn called for the hold. The Panthers decline the penalty. 4th down, and Tampa Bay will punt.
You notice how many scrambles Josh Johnson went on this drive?
Too many?
No, well, you know what it tells you? The coverage is really good downfield. But the Panthers are covering up receivers, so since he has nowhere to go with the football, he has to use his legs to try and create a play.
Captain Munnerlyn is back deep, and Dirk Johnson will kick it away. Beautiful kick. Munnerlyn at the 6. Captain Munnerlyn. And finally tripped up. That was a very nifty return by the rookie, Captain Munnerlyn. The Panthers have the lead and the ball with 5:36 remaining in the 3rd. From the 40-yard line, D'Angelo Williams. And Ronde Barber on his tail, but gets about 7 yards on first down.
Loving watching the patience of D'Angelo Williams running the football. Great vision, not pressing the hole too much when it's not there. And when he finally sees the opening, exploding into it.
Season's high 89 yards, and this is only the 2nd time this year that the Panthers as a team have gone over 100 yards rushing. They have 162. 2nd down and 3. Jake Delhomme's pass And it's caught by Dante Rosario, who goes out of bounds. And a first down for the Buccaneers at the 40, or for the Panthers at the 48 of the Buccaneers.
That play had the potential to really gain big yardage if he could have gotten the ball one step earlier and been able to turn upfield. I saw Jake Delhomme got motion to himself after the play like, I was so close. Led him over the sideline, but they did pick up the first down.
There's Muhsin Muhammad. Steve Smith yet to catch a pass. And the Bucs have been burned on the long pass plays this year. Not so much today, however. First down at the 47 of Tampa Bay. Here's Williams trying to go to the outside. Breaks the tackle. And finally goes out of bounds, but not before another Carolina first down. And a 12-yard gain. Steve Smith limping before. Still looking for his first catch of the day.
D'Angelo Williams once again in open space makes the one-on-one tackler miss. Look, a great block by Muhammad, 87, makes the first man miss and gets to the sideline for more yardage.
So D'Angelo Williams with 101 yards, first time this year going over the century mark. First down, play action for Jake Delhomme. Pumps twice and finally dumps it off to King, and Jeff King is tackled inside the 30-yard line. Gets about 7 yards on that play, and good pressure by Styles White, who replaced Gaines Adams.
There's Rondé Barber matched up one-on-one with Muhsin Muhammad. Nice job taking him out of the play. Aqib Talib reading the moves of Steve Smith. Nothing doing there. And so Jake Delhomme, there's a look. Nope, nope. There's a second. Nope. And then throws it short to Jeff King, really on his third look as he was going down, being tackled.
So a check down as he was going down. 2nd and 3. Jonathan Stewart checking in as the running back. Here's Stewart. And meeting him head on was Savi Piscatelli, the strong safety, and limiting Stewart to a pickup of 2.
With the way that offenses are going today, especially with Tampa Bay struggling a bit here in the second half, when you look at the play selection, this is exactly what the Panthers want. That's Panther football, 26 runs, 13 passes. I think John Fox is viewing this drive as a huge drive to try and get a 2-score advantage in a game that's been this tightly contested.
No question. 3rd and 1. Stewart, first down. Stewart inside the 20. And Stewart will get into the end zone for the touchdown. No flags are down. Jonathan Stewart, who scored the winning touchdown last week against the Redskins, gets one here. And just as you just said, John Fox running game working to perfection, and the Panthers opening up a 20-7 advantage.
We're seeing double trouble back in session again for the Carolina Panthers. Williams and Stewart.
John Casey. And the extra point is perfect.
They say on any big run, the first 7 yards belong to the offensive line and tight end. And then after that, you need help from the wide receivers. Well, look what you got. Offensive line, tight end, they clean up. And then to get past the 7 yards, there's your wide receivers involved. Muhsin Muhammad with the final block against Aqib Talib. And Jonathan Stewart walks into the end zone.
26-yard touchdown run by Stewart. Sammy Straughter returning from the 4. For the Buccaneers, still on his feet. Sammy Straughter. Touchdown, Bucs. Seven-yard kickoff return puts the Bucs back in the game.
Dick, the third one in Buccaneers history. in terms of kickoff returns, and Strawder really makes it work. What a great job shaking off tacklers to get to the end zone.
Shane Andrews. 2:17 remaining in the third quarter. And there is Kenneth Moore, who returned to kick 55 yards against the Redskins last week. It'll be a short kick, and on the run is Moore at the 15. Kenneth Moore runs into a pack and is finally downed at the 35 by Brian Clark.
How about this? You know, they put a new rule in this year that you cannot have a three-man wedge. Look right here. Very close to a three-man wedge for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they didn't really join hands, no call. And then they create almost a picket fence to give an opportunity for Strawder to get into the hole, and then once he does, he shakes off a couple of tackles and then out sprints everyone for the touchdown.
And you're absolutely right. You can't have three, but if one is behind a pair, that's all right.
Right, but they had three lying there and then one behind him.
So let's see what Carolina does with the answer. Handoff to D'Angelo Williams, who dives forward to the 40-yard line, picking up 4. Styles White makes the tackle. So D'Angelo Williams, who's gone over 100 yards in a game for the 12th time in his career, has 105 today. And the team with a rousing 174, and they were well down in rushing yardage coming in.
And last year they had the same type of a start, but once they started rolling, D'Angelo Williams, 6 100-yard games.
2nd and 6. Williams trying to go to the outside, breaks the tackle, and finally goes out of bounds, but not before another Carolina first down after the 16-yard screen pass.
One of the great attributes of a terrific back, the first guy in open field is not getting you down. And what we've seen all day today from D'Angelo Williams is guys in open field, the first guy always misses.
That's what D'Angelo Williams has done. Stewart, who has gained 64 on the ground, is now in the backfield. Play fake to him, pressure on DeLone, and he's sacked. Back at the 45-yard line by Styles White. 3rd NFL start for Styles White, who spent 2 years in the Arena League and taking the place of Gaines Adams, who was traded to the Bears on Friday night.
And that's Styles' first sack since last season. Look at the coverage. Aqib Talib, terrific job on Steve Smith. But I think that Jake Delhomme wanted Jeff King downfield or Muhsin Muhammad. Rondé Barber has him locked up, and Quincy Black had Jeff King locked up, which allowed for the sack by Styles White.
2nd and 20. Again to the air. Delhomme tipped and intercepted. Barrett Ruud on the deflection, and the Bucs get it back. And that is the 9th interception thrown by Jake Delhomme this year. And the Buccaneers have taken over momentum in the latter stages of this third quarter.
Partner, this is back-to-back plays by Quincy Black. The first one he covered Jeff King, allowed for the sack. He comes right back on the very next play, reads the eyes of Jake Delhomme, flows to the football, and tips it up for Barrett Ruud to pick it off.
So Black has had a big game. Ruud has had a big game as well. 14 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Turnovers 2 apiece in this game. And here's Cadillac Williams trying to stretch it outside. Flag is down. And Williams is knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line with 6 seconds on the clock and the penalty. And they're bringing it back.
There is no foul for offensive holding. 1st and 10 from the end of the run.
So everyone moved back. It indicated it was against Tampa Bay, and now no foul. The wave goes forward. Barrett Ruud having big plays in pass coverage and in the run game. So it'll be a first down at the 45-yard line of the Panthers. Start of the fourth quarter, Dick Stockton and Charles Davis. 21-14, the Panthers lead. And a 1st and 10 on the 45 of Carolina. Josh Johnson gets the pass out to Ernest Graham. And Graham picking up a couple of yards, 2 on 1st down. Diggs on the play.
Love the versatility of Ernest Graham. You alluded to it earlier in the game, Dick. This is a guy who had to start at fullback today because B.J. Askew's hurt. Had a car accident recently, had some injuries in that. But he played it last year and actually blocked for a 100-yard rusher in that game and Warwick Dunn. So the guy can do it all. Run from the tailback position, play fullback, catch the ball.
And he can run hard when he does, and we've seen it in the past. 2nd down and 8. Here's Williams, and not this time. As Harris hit him first, he dove forward, and a flag goes down on the far side near the 50.
He got more out of that run than you would have thought.
Holding, number 70, offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So it's Donald Penn, the left tackle, called for holding. So just when the Buccaneers were inching toward the 40, now they're going to move it back.
Well, they picked up 1 flag on this drive for holding and took it and put it back in their pockets. Probably a bit too much to hope for getting it done a 2nd time.
It's burning a hole in the pocket, those flags are. They'll place it at the 47 of Tampa Bay.
2nd and 18 doesn't necessarily mean they have to get it back in this big chunk here. Protect the young guy at quarterback. Timeout by Carolina. Probably too many guys on the field, and they took the timeout to avoid the penalty. Here's why the Panthers had to take a timeout. They're trying to get their defensive call in. Here comes Captain Munnerlyn calling for the other defense. Now Diggs is running off the field, but that's not what they want. So Captain Munnerlyn comes running off the field. Unfortunately, that's 12 guys, and Tampa Bay has already broken the huddle. So they take the timeout to avoid the penalty, and Ron Meeks, the defense coordinator, trying to get his system in place and the right guys on the field.
2nd down and 18. Captain Munnerlyn is on the field now, and this pass is caught by Sammy Straughter. And he is tackled at the 42-yard line by Julius Peppers. So as you just said, you don't need to get all 18 in one shot.
This is a nice play for Tampa Bay, but look at who's in coverage and makes the open field tackle on a slot receiver. That's your defensive end, your all-pro, Pro Bowl guy, Julius Peppers. They keep telling me he hasn't been engaged this year. I'm not seeing that on film the last few ball games.
I don't know whether Beason's comments motivated him, but in the last 2 weeks he has been out of sight, and it's now 3rd down and 7. So this is where Josh Johnson, looking to get the 1st down, will run, and let's see if his stretch makes it. And it'll be very close to the 35. James Anderson was chasing him, and they may need a measurement, and if they do, they won't have to go far forward.
Look at Chris Gamble. All right, he's pressing with the Sammy Straughter. He's in man coverage, which means he's running away and his back is turned to the quarterback until it's really too late to come back and react. James Anderson makes the tackle. But another example of Josh Johnson using his legs to not only extend a play, but make a play.
And the placement of the ball, the spot of the ball, and the measurement will take place here. See whether Josh Johnson had enough for the 1st down. First down, Buccaneers. Raheem Morris, 33 years old, looking for his first NFL win as a head coach, and a challenge flag thrown on the opposite side of the field by John Fox.
Challenging the spot of the football because of where Josh Johnson was tackled going out of bounds.
Is challenging the previous play of a 1st down and where the ball was spotted. We'll review the play.
Looking at that sideline replay, Josh Johnson obviously had his foot out of bounds, well shy of the 1st down.
And look at this, as he's making the play coming down, right? You see the foot. All right, you see right here on the sideline. And now he's over the sideline again before he extends. That's what Carolina's challenging about, where he is actually out of bounds. He's out of bounds right there. All right, he has not extended and finished the play. So he gets a favorable spot. Foot right there.
Here's John Parry, and then
after reviewing the play, the runner's left foot, when it went out of bounds, the ball was at the 36-yard line. The ball will be respotted at the 36-yard line, fourth down, short of the line of the game. Carolina is not charged with the team timeout.
Now I ask you, Charles Davis, what do they do here?
You go for it. This is a team that's 0-5 and has done quite well coming back from a 21-7 deficit. They returned the kickoff for a touchdown immediately after that. They've come back and played well here. I don't think you do anything but go for it and try and pick it up.
And last week, Raheem Morris rolled the dice as well. And why not? You know, they got that 97-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to make this a one-score game. And here they are, fourth down and 1. And it's Graham, and a flag is down. And let's see if there is a false start. Yes.
Number 88, offense, 5-yard penalty, fourth down.
So now it'll be fourth down and 6, and there's no question as John Gilmore, number 88, jumped. Well, that's it.
I mean, it was the right call, the right thing to do. You've got to execute.
Well,
at 0-5, that's when everyone walks out stage and says that's part of the reason why you're 0-5. You don't execute at the right time.
They would have had the first down. So Dirk Johnson will punt on fourth down. Captain Munnerlyn is back deep. Johnson trying to keep it within the 20. Fair catch called for, and it's a great catch. You don't let a punt hit the ground, and that's what Captain Munnerlyn did, and it is down at the 4. All right, Captain Munnerlyn. Got to catch the ball, don't let it hit the ground. So the crowd into it here, first and 10 at the 4. D'Angelo Williams dives to the 7. Tenard Jackson, the free safety, making the tackle. Second down. Pickup of 3.
This is where the big, experienced offensive line of Carolina wants the challenge on their backs. Move the football via ground.
Two tight ends with King and Barnidge. Williams. Bucks are right there. No gain on the play. It'll be third down. Quincy Black leading the way with help from Jimmy Wilkerson.
Watch the left side of the line for the Buccaneers and how they handle things, because they stayed behind on the backside. Play originally looked like it was going the opposite direction. And watch the cut by D'Angelo Williams back into the teeth of the Bucs defense.
So it's third and 7. And the handoff to D'Angelo Williams. He'll get the first down. And the Panthers keeping it on the ground. And Charles, you chronicled that early. That has been their game today. And an 11-yard pickup with Rude and Piscatelli getting him out of deep trouble.
They handle everything up front well, but look over here. Right there's the key block of the play. And of course, it's Muhsin Muhammad, number 87, controlling the corner, Elbert Mack. And D'Angelo Williams vaults into the open space.
And a first down at the 18. Jonathan Stewart is in the game now. And here's Stewart. And he is hit immediately by Geno Hayes and stopped almost in his tracks. So it's the tandem, D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. Season's average 90 yards a game. 185 today. Remember, last year in the game that really turned the seasons around, a team franchise record 299 rushing yards.
And those two, when they combined for when the team ran for 299, those two were over 300. But Jake Delhomme lost 2 yards on a run, so it was 299 total.
Drat. 2nd and 8. Stewart again. And hit immediately. And that was Styles White who grabbed hold of him first. And maybe a yard on the play. So it'll be 3rd down and long. D'Angelo Williams, who has gained 119 yards and has scored a touchdown today from 20 yards out, as Stewart does the job.
And this 3rd and long, it appears that Aqib Talib has been shadowing Steve Smith in coverage. Let's see if he goes where Steve Smith lines up.
Smith is lined up to the right.
Right up here. There's a Talib shadowing Smith.
3rd and 7. Jake Delhomme's pass, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Tenard Jackson. Touchdown, Bucks. Tenard Jackson with his first interception of the year, and for Jake Delhomme. And Steve Smith still without a catch. And Delhomme with his 2nd interception of the game, 10 on the year. And looking to tie it up is Shane Andrews. Here in the 4th quarter, the kick ties it at 21. 60 points allowed off of turnovers by the Panthers, most in the league. And Tampa Bay getting touchdowns on special teams and on the defense. Tenard Jackson with his first NFL touchdown ties the game, and the kick goes into the end zone, down for the touchback, and the Panthers will take it out on the 20.
This looks like 2 deep coverage. So it's man-to-man underneath with 2 safeties. Watch Tenard Jackson, the first guy I circled in your screen. When Steve Smith starts inside, he heads towards Steve Smith's area and follows him to the football. Watch Jackson. He's going to move this way and then to the football as he reads the crossing route by Muhsin Muhammad. There's the pick, and he's off to the end zone.
And what sparked Tampa Bay was Sammy Straughter's 97-yard kickoff return and the handoff to D'Angelo Williams, who fights his way out to the 25, a gain of 5 on 1st down. Chris Hovan making the tackle. Under 8.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. We're tied at 21.
Tenard Jackson is a guy who they missed for the first 4 games of the season due to NFL suspension, but has come back in a big way today.
That's Smith to the top, but the pitch goes to D'Angelo Williams, and Williams with good blocking will have the 1st down. 1st and 10. Jonathan Stewart driving his way beyond the 35 to the 37-yard line, getting 5 yards.
Have you noticed the Panthers have reverted back after the turnover by Jake Delhomme? You know, they've almost gone turtle. You tuck your head in, pull your arms into the shell, and go back to doing what you do best, running the football. They want to minimize mistakes at this point.
Stewart remains in there. He's had an Achilles problem, didn't practice some this week. 72 yards rushing on the day, however. And the quick pass to Steve Smith. First catch of the game. And let's see if it's enough for a Panther 1st down.
He's going to be a little bit short of the 1st down. Just a simple route to leave up close, tight coverage. Smith about 1 step off the line, ball delivered, and then Talib makes a nice tackle and holds him short of the 1st down.
You know, for Steve Smith, this is the longest scoreless streak to start a season he's had in his career, 4 games. and he's had to wait till now to just catch a pass. 3rd and 1. Hand off to Jonathan Stewart, and Stewart gets into Buccaneer territory to the 49. Piscatelli brings him down. Hard running by Stewart as he gets 10 yards.
You know, a lot of teams like to do 2 tight ends in a short yardage situation, but these receivers block so well for Carolina that they just leave them on the field. Muhammad and Smith, and they only go with 1 tight end out on the wing. Actually, they ended up having 2. I take that back. King and Rosario in, but they like to leave their receivers in because they block just as well.
Rosario's practically a receiving tight end anyway.
That's not what he's known for, is his blocking. They did it well there.
First down to D'Angelo Williams, trying to cut outside, and does a good job of it. D'Angelo Williams getting something when it looked like he was caught behind, and Rondé Barber finally catches up after a gain of 6.
Look at all this beef just coming right at you now. Big guy on big guy. Kedrick Vincent, number 68, controlling Jimmy Wilkerson, allowing D'Angelo Williams to make the cut outside. And then he runs with more power through the tackles of Rondé Barber and Aqib Talib.
How about the running today? Carolina 224. Tampa Bay 124. That's not bad, 124. But here we have 2nd down and 4. D'Angelo Williams going outside and was pushed out of bounds by Piscatelli, about 2.5 yards shy of the 1st down.
You know, corners in the NFL are not supposed to take on blockers and go through them and end up making plays. Rondé Barber does it as well as any corner has done it in the last 15 years in this league. And on that play, he took on Dante Rosario and made the play bounce so they didn't pick up additional yardage. Great job on the edge by Rondé Barber, number 20.
Third down and 3. Stewart, 1st down. The offensive line doing a great job for these 2 running backs who were just smashing up the middle, and that time Rosario, well, maybe he is a blocking tight end after all, helps Stewart get 9 yards and the 1st down inside the 35.
The Panthers told us not to characterize their tight ends as one's a blocker, one's a receiver. So we look at Carolina piling up 234 rush yards because they said all of them can do everything, and they're proving it today.
How about 7 out of 8 plays on the ground on this drive? Here's Stewart again, and Stewart gets inside the 30-yard line. Barrett Rude on the stop. He gets 5 on 1st down, as we have now under 4 minutes remaining. And this is a ball control drive by the Panthers, who already are in field goal range. And
this drive still has a ways to go before it plays out. But John Fox called the win against Washington last week a character win when they came from 17 to 2 down to win 20 to 17. Thus far, this has been a character drive for Carolina.
2nd down and 5. Jonathan Stewart, and very close to the 1st down. It looks like he has enough. Crowder making the tackle, 5-yard pickup, grinding it out as we wind to 3 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter in a tie game. And there is Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. Williams coming into the game as Stewart gets plaudits as he goes to the sideline.
What a job these 2 have done today. We keep talking about last year's game, Dick, where they ran for, was it 186 for D'Angelo Williams, 115 for Jonathan Stewart. The only thing missing is Steve Smith isn't over 100 yards catching the ball today.
And last year, each of them scored 2 touchdowns. So it is now 1st and 10 from the 23. And here's Williams. And Williams pushing the pile. This is power football at its best right now, as exhibited by the Carolina Panthers. 6 yards on 1st down for Williams.
And watch how they hold their blocks and continue to drive people. It's not just at the point of contact, okay? Watch the offensive line. Not only do they get into the guys early, look how they sustain the blocks and continue to move. We talk about the running back moving the pile. Look at that, 47 King, 69 Gross, 68 Vincent. They're moving the pile.
That's the 2-minute warning.
Second down and 4 from the 17. D'Angelo Williams is the running back, and why not? Go to Williams again. First down for D'Angelo Williams at about the 12-yard line. 13th play of the drive. 11 of the first 12 have been on the ground. Remember, the drive started at the 20. And Jonathan Stewart in the game now. Third time that both have gone over 100 yards. It'll be first down from the 12. Tie score. Delhomme hands off Stewart again. And Stewart gets close to the first down. Will be short by a couple of yards. And each team with 2 timeouts remaining. And the clock continues to tick off as we have 1:35.
And I was surprised it took so long for Tampa to call the timeout. And then look at Jonathan Stewart reading his blocks, almost gets into the end zone, just tripped up at the last moment. There's the big hit there, and he gets between the two and bumps it down inside, what, the 3-yard or around the 4-yard line.
Styles White was shaken up. And White walking off on his own power.
See, I thought that was the timeout, but Tampa had elected not to take a timeout. Styles White being down forces the timeout because of the rule inside the 2 minutes and the player being hurt.
And there's Stewart and Williams with a little togetherness there. So the Buccaneers have 1 timeout left, and there is John Casey in case the Panthers can't punch it in. He's there to give him the lead in the waning moments.
And remember the last time Jonathan Stewart was in the shadow of this goal line? That's where he fumbled going in. He's on the field at this moment for Carolina.
Second down and 2. Jonathan Stewart gets hit shy of the first down. And that'll bring up third down, and the Buccaneers had 1 timeout left. Adam Hayward making the stop there.
Carolina's been running to the right side heavily on this drive.
Timeout.
Jeff Otak.
And the Buccaneers forced to call their 3rd and final timeout. Wilkerson did a good job as well on that play. So it'll be 3rd down and 1.
They've run hard to the right most of this drive. That's where Jeff Otai is, their right tackle. Keetrick Vincent, their right guard, their 2 best run blockers.
D'Angelo Williams in the game, gets the handoff, driving, knocked back, it's close. And the forward progress may be enough for the first down. It would be 1st and goal if that's the case.
If he got it, it's due to 2nd and 3rd effort, Dick. The legs never stop driving for D'Angelo Williams, and again to the right side of the offensive line following Brad Hoover. For you, I see the legs still going. If he got the first down, it's because of that. Adam Hayward thought that they had stopped him.
But it's 1st and goal with 47 seconds now, the clock running. The Buccaneers cannot stop the clock here.
And all you're thinking if you're Carolina, number 1 is ball security, because you can kick the field goal to win.
Here's Williams, and over for the touchdown. D'Angelo Williams breaks the tie with 29 seconds to go with his 2nd touchdown of the game.
And after going to the right side so many times, they come back to the left side as a change-up, and that's what gets D'Angelo Williams into the end zone.
So this was they passed 1 time for 4 yards in this drive.
And they're not even running the wishbone or the option, Dick.
Right. Here's Casey on to try to add the 28th point of the game for Carolina. And the Panthers lead it 28-21. 29 seconds to go. Williams with 152 yards after the 1-yard touchdown run, and Stewart with 110.
This time they decide to go behind Travell Wharton, 70, Jordan Gross, 69. They brought in Mackenzie Bernardo, number 73, as an additional blocker, a backup offensive lineman.
And here is how Williams and Stewart celebrate together, and what a classic. 15 out of 16 plays were running plays, and you had talked about it when they started at the 20. That's been their game today.
And we talked earlier about John Fox, their head coach, talked about last week's win against Washington was a character win, and midway through the drive, it appeared to be a character drive. Go ahead and book it now with an exclamation point. It was a character drive for Carolina.
And Charles, they chewed up 8 minutes and 4 seconds.
Now remember, Sammy Stroughter brought back a kickoff, 97 yards for a touchdown. So if you're Carolina with a 7-point lead, 29 seconds, and Tampa Bay out of timeouts, there's no way you kick it deep again. There's got to be some sort of either a kick to the side, a sky kick, or you ground it through the middle of the field.
And there's Reese Lloyd, and he just wants to kick it into the end zone. No timeouts left. Josh Johnson loses it. And the Buccaneers recover. That's Charles Johnson who recovers the fumble. And the clock is running.
And you have to remember, with no timeouts left, everyone's got to come running back from their deep routes to get set up and try and get it again, as that ball is knocked free from Josh Johnson.
And that's going to be it. Final seconds of this game. And the last play, pass is caught by Kellen Winslow. And now they go to Stroughter. Cal Stanford all over again, and now coming to an end. So the Panthers win their second in a row.